back, this count is not that scary. But if Revival can't, then this snowballs really hardcore very quickly.
Yeah, and the Lings, they only just got speed. There's not a whole lot of them.
Revival
looks to be going down. Yeah, because like now, Yonghwa is in this like position where Revival can't dance around the issue. Like he's gonna either kill the natural or not. There's no trying to buy time. So all the roach is gonna come in piecemeal, and that's not gonna work out. Blue drone's being pulled, not a good sign.
That's what I'm talking about though. Like Revival's, I feel. Like if you scout, if you're looking to do aggression, you're doing scouting more diligently, more frequently. But because he plays more passive, he played greedy, got a lot of drones up early on, really felt the wrath of that attack. So game number 1 gonna go to Yonghwa. As it turns out, by the way, Crank did win 2-0 over Choya already. So Pricey Gates anyone? I don't know. But so Crank's in the finals, waiting for the winner of the series.
Cool.
Well, let's wait for the invite there to game number 2. They're already in the lobby for it, so pretty quick stuff. There we go, King Sejong Station. For you guys talking about the show match yesterday, I did get the VODs online before I went to bed last night, so those are all up on YouTube if you want to go see them if you missed them live. But this is starting pretty quick, so it'll be Shant Dilly Dally. Hop into the game. King Sejong here for the semifinals. See you guys here in a moment. Alright, welcome back guys. We are in game number 2 in this best of 3 semifinals match for the OlimoLeague number 3. The winner of this goes out to fight against Crank in the grand finals. And of course, both these players being in the semifinals, I think it was $10 for 3rd and 4th place, right?
Yes.
So a little bit of cash in the pockets for today, not too bad. But spawning here in the bottom right corner of the map, wanting more than a little bit of cash, it is going to be CM Storm's very own Red Zerg player Revival.
In the upper left, as the purple Protoss, it is Yonghwa. Thought Emil was with us that first game.
I should have typed Yonghwa, but I realized Protoss was easier to type. So, I can't hope you can put 2 and 2 together. Emil's a smart cookie. But anyways, this is... I kind of feel like... the story of Revival, we saw him do similar instances in the Dragon Invitational where he was getting really punished for those greedier builds. It's something that is just a trademark out of a lot of Zerg players. Take that 3rd hatchery as soon as possible if you can get to that point. Actually, speaking of the girls show match, Queenie versus Livy B was a perfect example of this on King Sejong. Like, if your 3rd hatchery is up early, you're going to have a lot of economy. That's when you get the hatcheries out. That's when you get the ability to actually defend what's coming. Revival, however, didn't get that time. Yonghwa hit really early, and he was never really able to take advantage of the economy he gains from that 3rd, so it kind of sucks. Got a very awkward donation, though. $5 coming in from Ronin of Dreams. Ace Kate is love, Ace Kate is life, Ace Kate is for... No, I'm not going to read all that, but I dare you to argue differently. In other words, adding to Mr. Boris Makarov's kindling of a donation hype and much, and then gets cut off, because I guess you don't know how text limits work. But thank you, Ronin of Dreams. You're awesome. But Revival again with a 3 hatch before pool, and he's gonna get cannoned this time. Yonghwa. Oh, Yonghwa's like, Revival, please. Revival,
please. Who do you think you're up against? Yeah, this is a tricky one though. Revival, he's got the scout off on the Overlord because King said close by air, kind of. Saw the Nexus, figured okay, gateway expand. But it's actually a forge in the main. Like
yeah, this is a bit odd to see. Usually when you forge
fast expand, you always go for the front, unless you're really trying to keep it a secret and really surprise them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he was just assuming this would be out here in the front lines. The Overlord would have seen it, but never assume in StarCraft 2, guys. No, it makes an ass out of you and me. Just never assume, period. Revival will lose his natural base here. Now, the one small upside, this is very emphasis on small, is he can still, yeah, he takes a 3rd elsewhere. This is not, I mean, it's not like 4 hatch, 4 pull, it doesn't pull out, but still, quite an investment. And I gotta be honest, if Yonghwa decides to 4 gate behind this, I think he wins the game. Because Revival's bases are going to be so spread out, there's not going to be any creep spread. And there's no way he has the units to hold something like that off.
Yeah, we certainly have seen aggression on the back of this, and it's pretty perfect because the pylons are going to stay up for quite a while. These are pretty well positioned where a queen can't, attack from, one side and then take the
like when you crawl up down here. And, yeah,
so
I think you mean the control pylon?
Yeah, that's what I meant, the control pylon. So it just means that Yonghwa's going to have a lot of time actually to decide, like, it's not even have to be a 4-gate. They might still be up at a 7-gate. If Revival's really lazy about taking them down, doesn't get a Roach Horn, refuses to get a Roach Horn because he's still trying to be really greedy.
I know Zombie Grub doesn't need me to stand up for her, guys. But for those who are unfamiliar with us, Zombie Grub is a Masters Terran player. She knows what she's talking about. We've cast probably more matches of StarCraft 2 combined than most casters, period. I really don't know anyone that casts more than us, so... if you're unhappy with the commentary or something, feel free to leave feedback. You can tweet at us as well. A good way to comment and let us know ways to improve. But I mean, for the most part, if you're just trolling, fuck off. Play it simple. But back at home, I mean, Stargate's coming down for Yonghwa. Revival, I was really hoping for the gateway behind this because consider A, the fact that these pylons are protected, B, it's right in the heart of all the bases, and C, there's no creep spread behind this. If he's going for the Stargate, he goes for an Oracle, maybe he gets a couple kills here, but I mean, the reality is it's 7 drones or maybe a Queen. You're never really going to get both. But with the +1 weapons on the way, we'll eventually have that warp tech come into effect. And maybe this 4-gate or whatever won't be what kills him right now, but warp ins here later certainly can. And it will be some time before Revival can clean this up, because right now his priority is, alright, I lost my natural, I need to make up for this by droning and droning and droning and droning. It's exactly what he's doing right now.
I like the, actually I would have liked an Oracle opener here, because I think he would have gotten a lot of drone kills. The Queen will eventually take on the Oracle, but not before it, kills half your drone line. That's the breaks there. So, but instead he goes for Phoenixes, and that's gonna, of course, alert Revival to throw down a bunch of Spore Crawlers before the Phoenixes can actually do any damage whatsoever. Yeah, it's
interesting that we choose to go for the Phoenix tech though, because this usually means you're gonna head towards the Colossus. You're aiming for the late game, go for the macro, and I kind of feel like, I don't know, 7-8 gates could win the game pretty easy.
He could. He's only throwing down 3 gateways now, but there was the possibility of doing that all in, where you don't pick up anything with the Phoenixes, but the Robo goes down.
Well, cleaning the watchtower, make sure it's safe to move forward here. I like the positioning of the spores too. Oftentimes they just throw 2 down, but they're like right next to each other, so they don't actually cover much. These spore colors down here are actually really nicely positioned for Revival. Same with the ones in the main.
He still hasn't taken down the pylons.
I know, it's so infuriating, but I guess without the roaches he really can't.
Well, yeah, but he got it's because he chose to get the roaches, at a later time, so he could be greedy, and that is what I was talking about. But Yonghwa, of course, not capitalizing on it. He can still capitalize on the fact that queens can't get down there really fast, so any roaches that try and attack the cannons can be picked up by the Phoenixes. Oh, and even he does actually warp in a couple of zealots.
One of the things here too, there's zealots on the ground. The Phoenixes you pointed out, for those who don't know what Zombie Grub was alluding to before, by not wasting a lot of energy picking up the odd drone and harassing, you're actually going to have these with the energy to attack the roaches. And that's usually one of the biggest giveaways that there's actually an attack coming, what these Phoenixes spend their energy on. So by not having killed any drones, Revival perhaps should have known this was coming better. He's left a lot of the roaches hiding around the Spore Crawlers. I like that choice, but this is so many zealots still. And he doesn't have roach speed yet, so kiting them is not going to be super easy. Lings try and flood into the main. These will be quite helpful, but I mean, quite frankly, Revival can't television too heavily on what's happening right now. He's got to be thinking ahead, because there's Colossus coming up behind us. There's Void Rays coming up behind us. Like, this is not the end game.
No. And you could argue that's kind of like a waste of some zealots, because I don't think it should kill that much. A couple of roaches, lots of lings, of course, because they just do really well against them. And the Phoenix has got some kills as well, and they still are, which is funny. Cannon's helping out as well. But, if Revival was being maybe a little more greedy, wasn't, just right then getting a bunch of roaches, probably could have done some significant drone damage. But now the 4th goes down. It is scouted, and also the Spire was scouted. No Hydralisk Den. Transition.
I feel like the Spire is more of a just in case if he's got the opportunity for it. I doubt he's going to go Numutos after seeing this many Phoenix out already. That would take some serious balls to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we always say that, and sometimes we just do. And Revival is definitely a player that I've seen do it, especially on this map. he'll go meet a Corruptor, and I mean sometimes he wins, obviously, but I'm not 100% confident against Phoenix openers.
Well, it's probably the only time in about 50 games I've seen a Void Ray Prismatic aligned efficiently. Instead of just like going off on Void Ray, or sorry, Zerglings and Hydra.
That big long Boss is gonna die.
Maybe not against the high ground. 8 health, 4 health. Oh my god, he can still get it! That leg is a hero! This one guy here in the end, that one kill's like the greatest kill. Yonghwa, not happy with how that went. Oh man. Is there spikes in this game? There's no spikes in the game.
Not for us, maybe for him.
Well, I mean, you'll see spikes if players are lagging too, or if other casters are lagging. But okay, that was a nice little run by Revival. Catching that Colossus was kind of a big deal, but hardly the end of the game. Side note, wow, this Zergling here is like spread eagle. Like, what the hell? He's just putting it all out there. Anyways, we do have Corruptors coming up behind this. The Corruptors will be good at killing Colossus if they're still there. If they can thin out some of the Phoenixes, maybe that becomes a little bit different as well. I don't know what they're saying. If I stab a wild guess in the dark, it's probably like, fucking casters lagging. Plebeians, get out of our game. That's how I imagine Korean stock, you know, like Romans.
Oh, I was gonna say like really BM?
Oh, okay, that too. Hail and well met, dick fucker. Oh man, Olivia's gonna be like, I can't use any of these highlights. Rifkin keeps saying the stupidest things in the VODs.
As long as you don't say, you know, bad things during highlight moments.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Tune in for the OlimoLeague, where you get like 10 seconds of PC content.
Yeah.
Alright, enough jabs aside. We do have the, okay, so it is going to be Mutalist Corruptor behind this. This is not a bad idea. Mutalist Corruptor can work. I kind of feel like it's building into what is already an established Phoenix count, which I don't love. He will pick up one of the Phoenixes to start, though, so not a bad beginning to this. The way this ends up working, for those who have never seen this before, I'm assuming most of you have, honestly, this is not that uncommon of a thing, but on the off chance there's anyone who's maybe unfamiliar with this style, the Phoenixes are a unit made entirely to counter Mutalisks. Just through sheer design, they're better than Mutalisks in every single way. So what the Corruptors do is they kind of like bodyguard, they body block. I mentioned this is what football looks like. I don't watch real sports, guys. The Mutalisks are the guy with the football, so they're gonna get guarded by the Corruptors. And I sound like I've never cast StarCraft 2 before describing this, but it's because they've got a really high carapace. Like, not a lot of units. I think there's only like 2 units in the game that have base 2 armor. Battlecruisers, of course, have base 3, but because of their high armor value, they take no damage from Phoenixes. Seriously, they get tickled at best. So really good at tanking their shots.
Mm-hmm. Yonghwa
Next
not
time
really
you
investing.
can describe it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Not really investing anymore into Phoenixes, going into Blink Stalkers, of course, with the upgrades as well. What sucks about going for this type of composition is that, you know, well, any composition actually, units just always usually go into a base race, some type of base race. If it's not a base race, it's at least a couple of base trades, trading 1 for 1. But without Phoenixes, you can't attack with an army and defend at home, you know? Because, well, the Phoenixes aren't there to be the mobile muta killers that they are.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to be really committed if he does move across the map here.
But this is such a good idea. You know, the only reason I think he's gone Muta Corruptor is because of the map. Truthfully and entirely, I don't think this would have happened in any other scenario. Because look at this, he's just gonna be able to abuse this base really nicely. Dives in with mutas, maybe picks up a probe or 2. Blink Stalkers actually don't kill anything right now. As you pointed out, there's Lings ready for the counterattack at some point, but. Yo, this 5th base out of Revival is what I like the best. He is getting away with so much greed this game, where he's been punished for it every other time, and I think we're going to see an example of like why he plays the style. Because when you can get away with it, you get really away with it.
It's all off the back of, you know, losing the hatchery too. Yonghwa, probably maybe, you know, the better game plan would have been abusing the fact that he did get those pylons up, but he is playing out the long game, and maybe he'll learn to regret it, or maybe things won't go so bad for him. Now, I'm really worried about right now is that he doesn't have any High Templar tech. Storm's not really that useful against mutas. Sometimes they do have damage to the Corruptors. That really helps out, but it is about having the Archons that splash damage.
So Revival is just basically saying like, you leave my 4th base alone.
No touchy.
Yeah. No touching! No touching!
I was imagining the Emperor's New Groove. That one too.
Oh, I was thinking the C word here with George Bush Sr. Anyways, Corruptors are, well, gonna kill all the Voidry, I guess, which is nice, but the Bling Stalker's actually doing a great job of dealing with the Mutalists. Too many of these are bleeding out. Revival should probably not have fought as soon as those Force Fields went down, just falling back.
Yeah, that was weird. That was weird. I mean, the Phoenixes went down really quickly, so they weren't in that much damage, but just as many Blink Stalkers as they were, and the Mutants weren't exactly... You're not pushing up here. Try somewhere else. Really? He's gonna try and push up here?
I guess.
Right.
I mean, he's gonna take the damage for it. This is Revival just buying time, though. I mean, this is the thing with Spinecrawlers. They're never really like bunkers or like cannons in that regard. Spinecrawlers are always just made to buy yourself time, and as we see, working pretty nicely here. If you focus down that Mortal though with the Mutalisk, maybe. What's he waiting for to go in? 26 links are on the way, but he's bleeding out all of his DPS. Corrupts like half the army. Wow, that APM. Holy crap.
That looked like a blinding cloud. I was like, when
It did. Oh my god! For those who don't know, like you have to single target corruption, so like that's kind of insane. That micro there does make you just take a little bit more damage, not insanely a lot more. But the Immortals start falling. The Stalkers still have a lot of damage versus this Revival with some very odd control, still bleeding out units left and right here. And the Corruptor sadly not soaking the hits like I think he wants to. He's like leaving them on the front lines to bait out hits from the Stalkers. The Spinecrawlers though, man, these Spinecrawlers though, all these Stalkers are so freaking low. Yonghwa's got an army that's going to die when it actually engages.
I don't know who it's actually going to work out for, though. Like, Revival, surprisingly, not doing so great. Of course, the
He doesn't have a lot of mutas. I mean, 30's okay,
yeah,
but
that's true.
This is so many Blink Stalkers. Like, he can never fully execute these. I like that he's giving out the base. I mean, he's on 5 bases. He doesn't need this base right now.
Oh, you know what? If Fungals were around with those Spine Crawlers? Oh, that's definitely never pushing up there. But Revival, like you said, he doesn't really have that high of a count of Mutalisk. The Corruptors are now useless because there's no Corruptors around. And a counterattack wasn't a viable option unless you just wanted Yonghwa. I mean, it was a viable option, but I don't think Revival was 100% certain about winning the base trade.
This is... It's like a mono battle coming out of Yonghwa, honestly. Jones pulled into this. More corruption just going down all over the place. A little bit of extra damage also going to influence the glaive bounces quite a bit. But Revival, 26 links are on the way. 8 more mutas are coming, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. I don't think it's going to be here in time.
3 Stalkers. There's just nothing but Stalkers in this game.
This is a mono battle through and through. It's like, what do you do to counter these Stalkers? Well, without Hydra's, not a lot. So, GG, Yonghwa will take the series semifinals, and he's going to go fight Crank in the grand finals. A best of 5 over there. Whew.